beleaguered mom was desperate to raise the spirits of her 4 unhappy kids after moving to Kansas from Arizona. Ignoring the sign that read construction entrance, she wheeled her 9-passenger station wagon in front of a brick building, taking shape in the middle of a cornfield. She beckoned them out of the car to take a closer look. Ever the optimist, she told them, "This is where we will make the most memories of our lives." And for 29 years, she and her family have made memories at 11411 Flum Road. In many ways, Cyndy helped build Aquinas from the ground up, laying the foundation for many of the traditions that we have today. Her son Jay was a member of the inaugural freshman class in 1988, and her granddaughter Annie will be her 7th grandchild to graduate from Little Saints. When Jay started high school, Cyndy rolled up her sleeves and got to work as well. Since she was once a kindergarten teacher, she knew how to organize, lead, and get a bunch of people to do what she wanted them to do. She had already started the hot lunch program at Prince of Peace, and now she turned her attention toward Aquinas. According to Jay, one of the first things she did was start making what seemed like a million fundraising calls to get a weight room for Coach Maroc. Soon the empty room was full of equipment, grunts, and sweat. She also aided Coach Maroc by starting and organizing the first freshman football preseason soap scrimmage. She was a baseball mom too, and Cyndy and Jerry were instrumental in getting the baseball field here. Cyndy says Jerry got the scoreboard, dugouts, and the fencing donated. And Jerry also had the bat rests made. I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's what I'm calling them. And I guess he even used to hook up the rake to the back of his Ford Fiesta before games and get the field ready. Jay recalled that his mom bought a button maker, and each year that her sons played baseball, she handmade buttons for every baseball player's parents, from printed individual photos that she took herself. She had to cut them into perfect circles, which he said took her forever. And Jay shared that from 1989 to 1992, Cyndy sewed about 95% of anything that went on an Aquinas letter jacket. Quote from Jay said, "I seemed like I brought one home every day. From letters to patches, she always got out her machine and she never took a cent." And there's more, because Cyndy was at least a 3-sport mom. She supported cross country by helping with their meets and cheering on the runners. Greg Wilson told me that Cyndy, as you would expect, was a great cross country parent. He said he remembered 2 things, especially about her: that she sold the General Sherman, the old station wagon, I think that I mentioned earlier, to him, and it was his cross-country hauler for a couple of years. He says that was a real favor to him. And also she gave me some great parental advice. She said she would always stay up until her kids got home on a Friday or Saturday night, and that she had some of the best heart-to-heart talks with them when they came in late after a date. A wise woman is what he called you. Whatever the sport, if there was a concession stand, you would usually find her working it. In fact, once she became the cheer coach, she started the first concession stand for the track, our Aquinas hosted track meet, and continued that throughout her tenure as cheer coach. But sports were just the beginning for her. There were numerous other Aquinas activities to which she dedicated her time. For instance, Candygrams. Cyndy started that to support the debate team when Jay was a member of that. She also organized the hospitality room for the first debate tournaments as well. She was a big part of the early extravaganzas here from the first one on. Back then, you didn't just get to dress up and sit down to a prepared meal. In fact, she probably didn't get to sit down at all because she was doing part of the cooking. She and Jerry served on the Parent Guild and did a stint as presidents as well. She helped start Kairos and was an adult moderator on many of the early ones, including the very first one when it was held in Conception. Even had to drive a student back late one night. And she also helped start the Kairoses at Dowling when our former principal, Jerry Deegan, went up there. She was part of the team that went up there and got Kairos started. She did a wonderful job raising her kids and supporting everything they did here. All four were nominated to homecoming court, with Jay clinching the crown, and many were part of teams that won EKL titles, and Liz was also a Pops Christi winner. We'll never know all the things Cyndy did to make Aquinas the community it is today, because she would just do what needed to be done and wouldn't look for recognition or thanks for it. But she must have been around so much that finally, in 1995, Aquinas President Blake Mulvaney decided just to put her on the payroll. She worked as administrative professional for all of our presidents and for several other people in several different offices, and performed a multitude of tasks for them. She has welcomed people to our community since then with her cheery disposition. Patty Jordan, who's unable to be with us today, shared that she remembers Cyndy warmly welcoming her to Aquinas. Patty said, "We spend more time at our jobs than most anything, so it is a blessing when your co-workers become your dear friends. Cyndy Novacek is my dear friend today and was my first friend when I began working at STA in '96. I don't forget kindnesses, so on my first day of work, I will always cherish the moment she came to my desk, patted my hands, and said, 'We are glad you are here, Patty.'" Cyndy, throughout your years here, you have continued to make people you encountered feel genuinely loved and respected, students, parents, teachers alike. Thank you for your friendship to me and to everyone, and Patty wishes you peace, joy, and happiness. I remember an in-service several years ago before the days of FFF. He said that one of the two most important people you have in your building is the one answering your phone. Well, Aquinas got lucky with Cyndy in that respect. She did not merely answer the phone, she represented, she communicated. Most of you have no idea of the anger that was directed at her sometimes, at people upset about decisions that she had no control over, or because our emails and phone messages went unanswered. I heard her comfort parents calling because some tragedy had befallen their family. I heard her reassure parents who, like she, were moving here from out of state. And even after 50 calls asking what time Mass started, she spoke as nicely to that 50th caller as she did the first. And I don't know how many times over the years I heard this conversation. Her email address is jdove@stasaints.net. No, STA Saints. No, Saints. STASAINTS.net. No, .net. So I don't know who came up with our email address, but if you don't want to let Cyndy know if it was you, I think. Of all her roles here, perhaps no role was more rewarding, exasperating, or fulfilling as that of her 13 years as cheer coach. Cheer is a 3-season sport, so think about that. Think of all the games Cyndy's attended. Think of all the athletes she supported. All the titles she saw won. All the hard bleaches she endured in sun, wind, rain, and snow. Her son Joe wrote, "I think her greatest accomplishment was being the cheerleading coach for so many years at Aquinas. She was hated, liked, and loved for that position. She always knew how to handle the tough parent of a cheerleader, and that was with brutal honesty. But she always killed them with kindness." Her former assistant coach, Ann Linder, recently posted this on Cyndy's Facebook page. "They loved and respected you. They were like your kids, and they wanted to please you. I know firsthand, after coaching with you for 6 years, you loved each one of the girls like she was your own. You did things behind the scenes that they didn't even know you were doing for them. You have the biggest heart of anyone I know. You helped me raise the Linder kids. I will be forever grateful for all your advice you gave me at those 6 a.m. practices." And think about how many years of 6 a.m. practices, by the way. "Aquinas would have never been the same without you, a true original icon of STA. Your leadership, your countless hours given to attend games, practice, but most of all the hours you spent listening to the girls when they needed a shoulder to cry on. You were always there for them. I can honestly say I've never met anyone like you." I asked a few of her cheerleaders to share some of their thoughts about Coach Novacek. From Katie Kuckelman, Mrs. Novacek was more than a coach to us. She loved each one of us as if we were her own. She provided support for those of us that needed it and a place to escape when school was overwhelming. Mrs. Novacek cared about each cheerleader as a whole person. She wanted the best for us. She didn't want us to make good grades just so that we could be academically eligible. She wanted us to try our very best. When someone made a poor decision, it upset her not just as a coach, but as a mentor as well. To this day, Mrs. Novacek still cares and is always excited to hear about updates on our lives. From Joanna Mirabili, Coach Novacek was not only a coach, she was a mentor and a friend. I will never forget our senior year lunch dates with Lauren Lichtide in her office, enjoying honey roasted peanuts and girl talk. And it was just more than Giovanna and Lauren. It was like the whole crew would come up and have lunch up there with her. Coach Novacek added so much joy and happy memories to my high school experience, and I am forever grateful. And from Alex Bellerive, Mrs. Novacek was like a second mother to me. All of us were and always will be her cheer girls. I was so lucky to have her as my cheerleading coach, not only for her years of experience, but how incredibly kind and encouraging that she was. I could go to her for anything. I remember one day I just needed a shoulder to cry on, and she was the one I leaned on. She had a way of making you feel like you were part of her family. I know that no matter how long it's been, I can just show up and she will welcome me with open arms. I love that woman from the bottom of my heart and wish nothing but happiness and good fortune for her. Give her the biggest hug from me and tell her how much I miss her. Yes, she had her cheer girls, but really she thought of all Aquinas students as her kids. I saw her give lunch money to kids with no expectation of repayment. She even packed lunch from home for a young man once. Our kids who needed food knew she would always have something for them. Jay wrote, I have no idea how much money she has spent on kids in dire straits. She has a very soft spot for kids in bad situations and loves to shop. So she found an excellent way to pair her loves of buying clothes, toys, gift cards, video games, etc. for kids. And I know every year it brought her absolute joy to buy the bicycles for her seminar family. Between that and the cheer squad, she pretty much spent every cent she made at STA on those two groups. My dad always joked that she spent her whole check and probably needed to write a check to STA on payday. Her son Joe shared she will always take care of the underdog. She will always praise a kid for trying. And most of all, she will make sure that any child she ever comes across is loved. No matter the child and how good or bad he or she is, my mom always makes them feel loved. And at the very least, if a child is down and out, her love will get them through that day. One time she was literally a fairy godmother to one of our beloved students. She bought this young lady the most beautiful prom dress. It was gorgeous and it was specially made for this young lady. I will never forget this gesture as long as I live. I could go on and on with examples of her kindness and godliness. For instance, I know without a doubt, she and Jerry seriously talked about the possibility of adopting one of our students who needed a forever home. She sees the good in everyone, even when they're at their worst. The woman is what we should all aspire to. She would happily give the shirt she bought online at QVC right off her back if any of us needed it. She wasn't afraid to give a kid a big hug if that's what they needed, or get her shoulder wet with her tears. She loved each kid who walked into this school, unless they did her cheerleaders dirty. And I can neither confirm nor deny that she once chased a boy down the hall who had dumped one of her cheerleaders before homecoming. It is a true story. Not a child left her office without hearing her say, "Have a good day." She always said she wanted to tell them that because no one else might. I can't even begin to tell you all the ways Cyndy has helped Matt and me, and Bob and Carol before us. She's been our counselor as well as for some of the teachers who made our office their place of refuge. Cyndy, you've known my daughter since the day we got her. Actually, Cyndy is the first person who ever knew we were getting Kayla because I had called back up here to school to give the news, and everybody was in a meeting. And so Cyndy carried that word to everybody else that with 2 hours notice, we were getting a baby. You helped me get her through Aquinas. You listened to me pour my heart out and got me through the horrible, no good, very bad year that was 2012. We have celebrated at weddings together, and we have mourned at funerals together. You're also the only woman that I let date my husband. Jerry and I don't like seafood, so my husband and Cyndy literally have Red Lobster dates. He picks her up, and they go eat, and I am good with that as long as they always bring me back cheddar biscuits. So, moving offices last week kind of felt like we were getting a divorce and had to sell the house, and somehow I got custody of Matt. You know, I'll grant you very liberal visitation with him. And I know every Monday night, the three of us, and yes, that includes Matt, will continue to make fun of The Bachelor over text. I also half expect you to come use a school computer to do your online shopping, because I have a feeling Jerry's going to be looking over your shoulder and hitting delete. I can tell you, it's never going to be the same without you here every single day. This has been your community for 29 years, and it will continue to be. And to me, you embody what a saint should be, and you are a true saint in every sense of the word. We love you. I love you. Been here since day one and even before. So I have some cards for you, and we have some online shopping money for you.